Chapter 19. A Choice. Her stomach growled, and tears streamed down her cheeks. The chapel has warm food that fills whole plates, not cold scraps that taste of dirt. She held out her worn blanket, full of holes. The blankets in the chapel are thick and warm. She surveyed her alley as the light fled from the land for the even. It used to seem so huge and full of wonder. Now it is small and boring in comparison to the symbols in the basement of the chapel. The buildings in the village are old and boring, regardless of the light being out or not. Her stomach churned again. Quiet, tummy. I am finally free of those wretched teachers. I cannot go back now. Why would I want to go back? For the food? For the drawing supplies? For the warmth of a fire? For the enticing symbols? For the peace from the circle of stones? If I go back, they will make me become a teacher. They tried to kill me and to steal my energy, and they tricked me into doing what they wanted me to do. I cannot go back. Can I? She buried her face in her blanket and sobbed. I do not know what to do. I thought this was where I belonged and what I wanted. I know I can survive here. Will Cardin let me return to his shop without the teachers telling him to? What about food? If the baker woman does not leave crumbs out for me, I know I can find scraps in the trash here, but the food at the chapel melts in my mouth and fills my belly. What am I going to do? Teacher Devon rested his hand on her shoulder. So this is your alley, Lanoya nodded. Devon glanced around. I could be wrong, but I think your room in the chapel is larger than this. She glanced up at him. It is, but the view of the heavens is better here. Devon tilted his head up. I think the view outside the chapel is better. I agree it is difficult for you to see the even sky from your room. He looked down at her. I'm not here to make you go back. I want to offer you a choice. Lanoya lifted her head. I'm listening. He continued. We teachers get excited when we have new talented learners, especially ones that enjoy using their power. We all have our own idea as to how your power should be used. He took a deep breath and exhaled. Clearly, you have your own idea as to how to use your power. My proposal is this. You can stay here in your alley. He waved his arm around the empty space in front of them. Or you could return to the chapel, and we could discuss how best to develop your special talents. Lanoya tilted her head and stared at him. What do you mean, discuss my power? I'm not sure I believe you. I think you are just saying it to trick me into staying. The old man burst out laughing. You cannot deny there is something inside you that wants to return to the chapel and learn more. I must say it is fascinating watching you use your power. Lanoya sighed. He is right. Returning to the chapel is more enticing than staying here. I do not want to become a teacher. Devon wrapped his arm around her shoulder. Lanoya, the land designed you to become a teacher of powers. She slid away from him. I am not a teacher. I do not want to control other people. I do not want to steal their power, and I do not want people telling me what to do. I want to draw. That is all. He shook his head. So young and so naive. I'm sorry you misinterpreted our intentions. I am certain Admon is part of the reason for your mistrust. You have already shown me and the other teachers, including Teacher Lord Humby, that there are other approaches to teaching and learning. You have shown Cardin and Caden a new method for making paints. You teach by doing, which is the same way you learn. You allow the land and your power to be your teachers. I wish to continue to learn from you. Lanoya crinkled her nose. You want to learn from me? Teacher Devon chortled. My dear, I have watched your excitement at discovering new things. You have a passion to understand and recreate what you see. I am enthralled by your vision. He gestured to the alley. I would consider living in an alley a nothing place, a pointless, lonely existence, something I would think you would want to escape. Yet you do not wish to leave. Why? She tilted her head and pursed her lips. This is all I remember, all I had. This is where I saw the intricate lines in the wood, the shapes of the buildings, the shadows cast by the even sky. This is where I discovered I could draw, I could build, and I could create my own version of things. It is small, but it is mine. No one bothered me here. They all wanted me to stay here. At least that is what I thought until I was taken away. Devon nodded. If we had offered to show you the palace, its grounds, the chapel, and then giving you the choice to stay here or move there, what do you think you would have chosen? Lanoya furrowed her eyebrows and stared into the dark. If I was given the choice to explore the palace grounds, to recreate them in the even and the light, it was amazing my first even there. She tapped her finger on her lips. But would I still be expected to know all the rules without being told? Would the teacher still try to steal my energy? Could I return to make more paint? She smiled. My alley was becoming boring before, but I knew what to expect. I do want to learn more about the symbols in the circle of stones. I want to see all the intricate details surrounding the palace and recreate them, but I do not want to be controlled, and I do not want anyone trying to take my energy. The old man smiled, placed his hands on her shoulders, and met her gaze. No one meant to take your freedom, child. We only meant to show you what we thought was a better way. We did not take the ties. We did not take the time. Sorry. We did not take the ticks to understand your perspective. For that, I am sorry. He held out his hand. I promise, if you return to the chapel, we will try to listen and explain the things you do not understand. I personally wish to learn more from you and your enthusiastic desire to discover all the mysteries of the land. He paused and stepped into the darkness. If you return, you will be trained to replace Teacher Lord Humby as the teacher of imitators. If you wish to remain here, no one will seek you out again. The choice is now yours. Lanoya twisted her blanket in the darkness. The strange voice echoed inside her. You are already a teacher. You taught yourself how to survive, and you taught yourself how to draw. You taught yourself how to find the beauty all around you. They mocked you because they did not understand you. Teach them to understand you. How am I supposed to teach anyone how to understand me? I do not understand me. I'm having a conversation with a voice inside my head, which was not there before I went to the chapel. I do not understand where it came from. The voice replied, You just explained yourself to Teacher Devon. He seems to understand. Maybe he can explain me to you as well. Lanoya's eyes opened wide. Teacher Devon, do you know where the voice is coming from? Devon glanced around and chuckled. I do not hear a voice. Where do you think it is coming from? Lanoya sighed. There is a voice inside me that keeps telling me to do things. It was not there before I came to the chapel. I want to know who put it there and how to get rid of it. Teacher Devon burst out laughing. Edmond arrived with a carriage to return them to the chapel. What is so funny? Lanoya thinks her power is trying to control her. Teacher Devon laughed as he hoisted himself into the carriage. Edmond gestured to the door. Please tell me you are coming. I do not wish to be in trouble if you do not return. Lanoya growled. It is not funny, and I am not getting into the carriage without an answer. Devon leaned out the door of the carriage and smiled. You are stubborn, Lanoya. The simplest answer is the land. The land has all power. It is created in the kingdom. It created this kingdom and all the people in it. The land gifts a portion of its power to a chosen few of us. It is our job to use it to bless, to build, and to protect the kingdom, the people, and the land. It is a privilege to share it with those who have no power. The voice is the land that created you, that gave you your power. It is telling you how you are meant to use your power. It will guide you in your life. If you listen to it, you will be led to the best land the land has to offer. Very few people hear, understand, or heed the voice. Many doubt its existence. You are lucky to know of it at such a young age. Lanoya wrinkled her nose. Lucky? You think I am lucky to have a voice inside me telling me things I do not want to hear? Devon sat back in his seat. Are you coming? We have much to learn from each other and from the voice of the land inside us. Lanoya crinkled her nose in disgust and climbed into the carriage, leaving the ruined paints behind her in the dirt. The bouncy ride back to the chapel was uneventful. Devon whispered, Why do you not put your head out and enjoy the view? Lanoya stared at the shadowy figure across from her. The light is gone, and there are no stars or candles in the carriage. That is disappointing. Why? Asked Lanoya. Do you not prefer it this way? No, child, I prefer to watch the lines pop out and the drawings change. Lanoya tilted her head and tried to read the dark outline of the old man. I do not understand. Are you a teacher of imitators too? Teacher Devon leaned toward her and shook his head. I am a teacher of watchers. What are watchers? Those with the power to watch others, he replied. I can see when others use their power, or energy, as you like to call it. I can sit in here and watch Edmond constantly brush his hair out of his eyes, only to have the wind whip his hair back across his face, which is apparently all the entertainment I will get on this trip, unless you have something else you want to draw. Lanoya shook her head, and Devon settled back in his seat. Has he been watching me all the suns I have been here? Is that what Edmond and Selena meant about watchers? The more I learn about these powers, the less I want to know. But it is nice that Devon likes to see the lines pop off the designs. At least it does not hurt me when he watches my energy, like the mean teacher Lady Melusa and the creepy teacher Lord Zochi. The carriage came to a halt in front of the chapel. Teacher Devon placed his arm in front of the door, blocking Lanoya's exit. You may want to wait a moot. Teacher Lord Alon appears to be upset. It is best if you let me speak to him. Edmond opened the door, and Teacher Devon gingerly exited the carriage. Lanoya slowly followed him. Teacher Lord Alon shouted, Where is it? Teacher Devon plodded towards the entrance of the chapel. Where is what? Teacher Lord Alon stepped between Teacher Devon and Lanoya. The drawing of Lady Edwima's flowers. Lanoya was unsuccessful in avoiding his gaze. Teacher Lady Melusa took it. Teacher Lord Alon growled. That was a foolish drawing, and I was wise enough not to allow Lady Edwima to see it. Where is the drawing you were ordered to make? Teacher Devon patted his shoulder. She spent the sun making the paints for it. However, her aunt spilled them her aunt spilled them all over an alley. They got mixed together. Lanoya will have to return another sun to make more paint. Teacher Lord Alon turned to face Devon. It is my understanding that Lanoya taught the people in Thayers to make the paint, so she would not need to return. Teacher Devon grimaced. Then you can wait until they make more and deliver it, or you can send her back. He winked at Lanoya. Do not worry. She has agreed to live here and to train to be a teacher as long as she is given a little more freedom. Teacher Lord Alon stepped back and glared at them both. She will get her freedom when she has drawn Lady Edwima's flowers the way they were before she destroyed them. Teacher Devon shrugged. I surmise Lanoya will be sent back to Thayers for paint and to make a drawing. He placed his hand on her back. Come along, child. The even meal will be getting cold. Teacher Lord Alon scoffed. She will only go back if you go with her. Teacher Devon nodded and escorted Lanoya inside. They headed to a large room off the kitchen. Lanoya's eyes bulged out of her head. There were several tables full of learners and teachers, all seated and eating. They are all in the same room. Teacher Devon laughed and pointed to some empty chairs. I see they saved us some food. Lanoya gawked at the room, the food, and the people in it as she made her way to the empty chair. I did not know it was possible to have this much food all in one place. A learner responded, This is not a lot of food. I have seen feasts for parties. The food at my home is much grander than this muck. Lanoya glanced at the plate of steaming potatoes, sliced meat, and bread. Her mouth watered in anticipation. This is not muck. This is a feast. She glanced around once more before delving in.